Hi, so there are a lot of very professional tutorials on how to use Mendeley. I just thought I would jump on here and walk you through the process of what I do when I find an article and how I use Mendeley. Well, the first thing is here's an article that I recently found that I'm interested in saving and reading. So rather than reading it online or printing it out, what I'll do is I'll save it. So I'm in Chrome, so with Chrome you just hover down where the PDF is and hit save. And then I give it a name, and actually what I do is I'll name it the same every time. So I'll give it the author's last name and then the year that it was published, and this one was just published, so it'd be 2014. And then you'll see that I've created a folder. I just call it Distance Education Articles. So I would create a folder on your desktop or in your documents and just make sure you're saving everything there. You could just call it IELTS Readings or something. And then I'm going to hit save. So it looks like I've already saved that. so that's one reason why I name it the same, because sometimes I find, oh, well, I've already found that and I've read it. So I'm going to just hit replace for the purposes of this tutorial, and then you'll see that it was saved there. So then what I'll do is I'll go into my Mendeley, and then I have some options here. So I can go into File, Add Files, and then I would find my distance education articles, and then I always kind of sort it by which one was added last. So then my new ones are up here, and so then I can just double click that, and you'll see that it adds it at the very bottom of the page. So then what I'll typically do is I'll open it up, and then you should see something where you can see the details to the articles. So with this I can click over, and then I can see that, okay, the title looks correct, and I just double check this. The author is correct, so it doesn't look like it pulled in a journal. So I normally look around and I find the journal name. So this would be e-learning. Then I can also check the volume. So I see that right here, volume 12, issue 4. So I can add those, and then the page numbers look to be correct. And you'll see that it just automatically pulled that in, and then it even pulled in the abstract and some keywords, which is nice. If it's a web-based article, I can still print it off as a PDF and add it to this, and then just put the URL right here. So I do that quite a bit. But right now it looks like the title is correct, but following APA format, everything is kind of lowercase. So I'll go through and change that, except for the first word, letter of the word. So good. Now I see that the title is correct. If this happens to be a journal article, and typically the default is that it's a journal article, but what if it wasn't? If it was a report, then I can find a report, or sometimes I just add them as books. If it's a dissertation or a master's thesis, I can add it as a thesis. So it does give you some options there. The ones I almost always use just a journal article and a book, or a book section, which is a book chapter, or report. And then the rest I don't really use that often. So once they're correct, I just hit details are correct. Now here's what's really nice about this is I've got all these tools up here, so I can, as I'm reading, I can highlight, which is really nice. I can also make notes, which are kind of like sticky notes. So I'll just type something in to give you an idea of what it looks like. So when I do that, you'll see that I have notes right here, and it's actually hyperlinked to the place where it was. So if I'm on a different page, I can click on annotations and it'll take me directly to that sticky note, which is great. I also want to point your attention to right here. It has notes. So as I'm reading, I can also just kind of jot down my ideas, and then I can actually search those notes and find exactly what I'm looking for. The other thing that I can do, which is really nice, is that I can search within the document. So if I want to search for blended learning, I'll see that there's no matches for blended learning, but if I type in online, it has 100 matches there, and I can go through and it'll show me each one of those, which is really helpful. I use that quite a bit, actually. So again, you see that it adds it here, but then I can cite it by author, so it'll go back to alphabetical order. And then if I want to create a folder, you'll see I have quite a few folders here. I can do that if I want to keep it organized by semester or by the paper that I'm writing, or by topic or anything else. I can kind of add these folders, and at the bottom here I can click Create Folder and then give it a name. The other thing I want to show you is one huge advantage of Mendeley. If I'm writing a paper and I need to cite something, let me show you how easy that is. So I'm just going to open up I opened up a Word document, but I can do this with emails or pretty much anything that I'm working with. It'll automatically cite an article for me. So if I'm typing, and at the end I'll typically have a references list, and then underneath that I can find the article that I cited above, and I can just click and drag it over, and then you'll see that it automatically cited it for me. Or I can do several all at once, and it'll automatically do it for me. So that's a huge advantage. They do have a plugin that is supposedly better because as you're writing, it'll automatically put the references in there. I found that the plugin isn't very stable and it crashes on me quite a bit. So what I'll typically do is, while I'm writing, if I'm citing something, I'll put the citation, the author name in there in parentheses and the year, and then at the bottom of the paper I'll put references, and then I'll go find that specific article and I'll pull it in. Or I'll create a folder, and as I'm writing, I'll just dump the citations in the folder, and then when I'm done I'll just open up the folder and then highlight all of the articles and then click and drag it in. So that's kind of it in a nutshell for me. I find that Mendeley is quite helpful, just keeping everything organized, because you'll see I have a lot now after I finish my master's and my PhD, and there's no way I could keep all this organized if I printed off articles. So you have to have some way to digitally organize your articles, and also to kind of annotate them and make notes on them, because you don't want to lose those notes later. And if you highlight and annotate paper, odds are you'll lose them from semester to semester. So I find this is a very helpful way of doing that, and it's free, which is just a bonus. So again, I hope that's helpful, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.